ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु मामे वैश्यासि युक्त्वैवम् आत्मना मत्परायणः। Anyone wants to chant? Yeah. मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु मामे वैश्यासि युक्त्वैवम् आत्मना मत्परायणः। Anyone? प्रभु जी। मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु मामे वैश्यासि युक्त्वैवम् आत्मना मत्परायण। माता जी बोलिए बोलिए। मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु मामे वैश्यसि युक्त्वैवम् आत्मना मत्परायण। Matmana, always thinking of me. Bhava, become. Mat, my. Bhakta, devotee. Mat, my. Yaji, worshipper. Mam, unto me. Namaskuru, offer obeisances. Mam, unto me. Eva, completely. Eshyasi, you will come. Yuktva, being absorbed. Evam, thus. Atmanam, your soul. Matparayana, devoted to me. Anyone wants to read translation? Yeah.
Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me.
Purport, maybe we can read one paragraph. So you can, or I can start the first one, and then you can read the second one. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, it is clearly indicated that Krishna consciousness is the only means of being delivered from the clutches of this contaminated material world. Sometimes unscrupulous commentators distort the meaning of what is clearly stated here, that all devotional service should be offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. Unfortunately, unscrupulous commentators divert the mind of the reader to that which is not at all feasible. Such commentators do not know that there is no difference between Krishna's mind and Krishna. Krishna is not an ordinary human being. He is absolute truth. His body, his mind, and he himself are one and absolute. It is stated in the Kurma Purana, as it is quoted by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami in his Anubhashya comments on Chaitanya Charitamrita 5th chapter Adi Leela verse 41 to 48. Deha dehi vibhedo ayam nishware vidyate kvachit. This means that there is no difference in Krishna, the Supreme Lord, between himself and his body. But because the commentators do not know this science of Krishna, they hide Krishna and divide his personality from his mind or from his body. Although this is sheer ignorance of the science of Krishna, some men make profit out of misleading people. Yes, Prabhu, you can read second paragraph.
There are some who are demonic. They also think of Krishna, but enviously. Just like King Kamsa, Krishna does. He was also thinking of Krishna always, but he thought thought of Krishna as his enemy. He was always in anxiety, wondering when Krishna would come to kill him. That kind of thinking will not help us. One should be thinking of Krishna in devotional love. That is bhakti. One should cultivate the knowledge of Krishna continuously. What is that favorable cultivation? It is to learn from a bona fide teacher. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we have several times explained that his body is not material, but is eternal, blissful knowledge. This kind of talk about Krishna will help one become a devotee. Understanding Krishna otherwise, from the wrong source, will prove fruitlessness. Should I continue?
Maybe some Mataji, you want to? Okay.
One should therefore engage his mind in the eternal form, the premual form of Krishna, with conviction in his heart that Krishna is the supreme. He should engage himself in worship. There are hundreds of thousands of temples in India for the worship of Krishna, and devotional service is practiced there. When such practice is made, one has to offer obeisances to Krishna. One should lower his head before the deity and engage his mind, his body, his activities, everything. That will make one fully absorbed in Krishna without deviation. This will help one transfer to Krishna Loka. One should not be deviated by unscrupulous commentators. One must engage in the 9 different processes of devotional service, beginning with hearing and chanting about Krishna. Pure devotional service is the highest achievement of human society.
Maybe Sureshwar Prabhu, you want to read? Oh,
I can read on.
yeah.
The 7th and 8th chapter
Thank you,
of
Prabhu.
Bhagavad Gita have explained pure devotional service to the Lord that is free from speculative knowledge, mystic yoga, and fruitative activities. Those who are not purely sanctified may be attracted by different features of the Lord, like the impersonal Brahma Jyoti and localized Paramatma. But a pure devotee directly takes to the service of the Supreme Lord. There is a beautiful poem about Krishna in which it is clearly stated that any person who is engaged in the worship of demigods is most unintelligent and cannot achieve at any time the supreme award of Krishna. The devotee in the beginning may sometimes fall from the standard, but still he should be considered superior to all other philosophers and yogis. One who always engages in Krishna consciousness should be understood to be a perfectly saintly person. His accidental, non-devotional activities will diminish, and he will soon be situated without any doubt in complete perfection. This pure devotee has no actual chance to fall down, because the Supreme Godhead personality takes care of his pure devotees. Therefore, the intelligent person should take directly to the process of Krishna consciousness and happily live in the material world. He will eventually receive the supreme award of Krishna.
Haribol. Wonderful purport by Srila Prabhupada. So we'll chant the prayers to invoke blessings. So if you go to first page, introduction, we can chant these prayers together. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakhaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Govinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripa tamaham vande Shri Guru Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. So I welcome all of you to this discussion on Bhagavad Gita today. So very honored and very grateful to all of you for being here. So anyone knows what is the next big event coming next week? Gita Jayanti, yes. Gita Jayanti is on 14th, Tuesday. And Ekadashi, that is the Mokshada Ekadashi. That is the anniversary when Lord Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. So such a wonderful Kirtan, Rup Manohar Prabhu, thank you for wonderful bhajans, Kirtan. And Maharshi Prabhu, Mataji, so consistently you are, coming and giving inspiration to all of us. So, as we understand that, next week is Mokshada Ekadashi, so we'll just discuss the glories of Bhagavad Gita and what the Bhagavad Gita has to offer us. And we know that currently we are living in a time of crisis. There are so many problems that are there. So similarly, Gita was also spoken when there was crisis. And it was not spoken in a temple. It was not spoken in a bedroom. It was spoken on the battlefield. So that shows the importance of that message. And it teaches us that amid so many difficulties, how we can achieve perfection. So that is what the Gita teaches us. And I was thinking about it and I kind of related with surfing, how to surf life with the Gita. So if you go to Pacific Beach here, you see so many surfers. That day, Daniel Prabhu and all of us, we went with the kids to the beach and we saw there were a lot of surfers who were surfing. So when the big waves were coming, I was pulling Mukunda not to go near the waves. Because generally big waves, they are, he's very small and doesn't know how to swim. So it's not good to be near big waves. But the same big waves which, we were scared of, are favorable for the surfers. They are looking for the big waves, right? So that they get an opportunity to surf on those big waves. So similarly, in our lives, we come across so many difficulties. But with the right attitude, with the right knowledge, we can convert those difficulties into opportunities. We can convert those waves as an opportunity to surf on those waves. So, Gita teaches us how to surf this material existence, how to sail smoothly in this material existence back to Krishna, back to Godhead. Just like in the purport, the last line Prabhupada said. So, that is the benefit of Bhagavad Gita, if we imbibe it into our lives. So, the Bhagavad Gita basically starts with this verse, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetra, the first verse of Bhagavad Gita. Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsava Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kimma Kurvata Sanjaya. So here Dhritarashtra, he is asking Sanjaya that what is my sons and what are the sons of Pandu, what are they doing on the battlefield of Kurukshetra? He is apprehensive that since it is a place of pilgrimage, because lot of yogis, rishis, sages, they performed lot of tapasya, austerities in Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra is like few hundred kilometers north of Delhi. And he was apprehensive that maybe because Yudhishthir is very pious and he is very pure-hearted. One of his other name is Dharmaraj. And Yudhishthir and then Duryodhan on the other side, he is very envious. He is very greedy because of his cousins. So Dhritarashtra is apprehensive that maybe because of the place of pilgrimage, my sons will lose the battle. So he's asking this question. And Arjuna asked Lord Shri Krishna to bring the chariot in between the two armies. And he was very much confused. He was engulfed by a state of bewilderment that what should I do? Because on one side, he has his grandfathers, uncles, and his family members. So it was a state of complete confusion. And in that state, he surrendered to Lord Krishna. Karpanya doshopata svabhava prachhami tvam dharma sammoni cheta yat shreyasya nishchitam bruhitanme shishyaste aham shadi mam tvam prapadnam. So Krishna is a dear friend of Arjuna, but at this point Arjuna said that I am now your disciple. I surrender unto you. I cannot handle this situation. It's very difficult. So, and all of us are actually in that situation. Many times we get into that situation. What should I do? What should I not do? Right? We have to take those kind of decisions. And just like Arjuna surrendered to Krishna, so by the example of Arjuna, we should learn that we also can surrender to Krishna in such situations by taking shelter of his instructions in the Bhagavad Gita. After Krishna left this world, then Arjuna was missing Krishna obviously, and then he remembered the instructions of Krishna, and with the potency of the instructions, he actually felt the same energy that as if Krishna is present personally, just by the power of instruction. So we have that same opportunity here with Krishna's instructions, just like Arjuna had. And one of the important points to understand Bhagavad Gita is that we should be a friend and devotee of Krishna. Bhakto si me sakha cheti, which means that we are bhakt. Arjuna was the bhakt and devotee of Krishna. So similarly, this is one of the qualification. Just like in this purport, Srila Prabhupada said that we should not be thinking of Krishna like Kamsa, right? So that should not be the mood to think about Krishna. That kind of thinking will not help us. One should be thinking of Krishna in devotional service. So that is one qualification. And then here Arjuna is in a state of necessity. A state of necessity when he is seeing that if he fights the battle, he has to kill so many of the soldiers. And if he kills them, then so many wives would be widows. The children will be fatherless. He is a devotee, he is very compassionate, he doesn't want to do that. But he has to perform his duty also. So he is in a huge state of confusion. It's a very difficult situation for him. And in the Bhagavad Gita it is described that A Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna. That in this material world, in this planet Earth, Brahma Loka to Patala Loka, all are places of miseries. There would be problems. Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. Birth, old age, disease, death. These are the problems that are there everywhere. We cannot escape it, whoever we are. So among all this crisis and situation, then Krishna starts to explain 5 different topics of the Bhagavad Gita. So one of the topics is Jiva, who we are. Jiva is the soul, and Krishna tells that Na jayate mrite va kadachin. So this soul never dies, never takes birth. We are not this body, we are the soul. We are just kind of renting this body. Srila Prabhupada will explain that, just like you live in an apartment for some time and then you leave the apartment, right? So this body is like an apartment. We live for some time, then we move to the next body based on, so many different factors on our consciousness at the time of death, our karma, all those things. But for a devotee, obviously, he goes to Krishna. That is there. So that is the nature of the jiva, that is the soul. And the nature of the soul is always to be happy, Satchidananda. That is the eternal nature of the soul. And we are trying to find happiness in so many things, through material pleasure, through the to satisfy our senses, satisfy our mind. But because it is all these things cannot touch the soul, therefore we get frustrated, and therefore anger, frustration, all these things come. But if we feed the soul, if we satisfy the soul by taking shelter of Krishna, then we are happy. Because the soul is a part of Krishna. Mameva amsho jiva loka, jiva bhuta sanatana. Because we are part and parcel of Krishna. Just like a sun is there. So all those rays, sunshine is coming from the sun. Right? So the sunshine is same in quality as the sun, but not same as quantity. Right? Just like a drop of water in the Pacific Ocean. Alkaline value, pH, whatever alkaline is, I think it's more than 7. So that is the same, but the quantity, obviously ocean is so big. Laghu and Vibhu. So the sunshine is coming out of the sun and it has the same quality as the sun. But at the same time, the ray of the sun has the power to conquer the sun also by devotional service. Just like Krishna says, that I am conquered by devotional service, by the love of the devotees. How is it possible that a sun ray can conquer the sun? It's very difficult to understand. It's inconceivable, but it's possible with love. So that's a nice example. And then, yeah. So and one other very good thing about this example I am remembering is, there are multiple sun rays coming out of the sun. So one ray doesn't tells the other ray that I am better than you. It doesn't tries to compare, and if it compares, maybe the sun is not happy because it knows everybody is a part and parcel of me. So therefore, this is one of the biggest instruction in Bhagavad Gita. Vidya vinay sampanne brahmane gavi hastani suni chaiva sopakecha pandita samadarshina. A learned person will look, everybody equally, whether it is a brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog eater. He will look the divine force within each of them, the consciousness. He will not, distinguish or discriminate between them. That is a learned person. So that is a very important teaching, especially in today's world, where there is so much of discrimination, hatred. So that's a very important lesson that Bhagavad Gita practically teaches us, which we can implement in our lives. And then, as we know that while we are living in this world, sometimes it's very difficult to overcome some of the forces, some of our urges or tendencies. So there is a verse which says, Devi hi isha gunmayi mama maya duratya mameva me prapadyante maya me tatarantite. So this material nature consists of 3 modes of nature, which is, Rajogun. Anyone can tell the 3 modes? Rajogun, Tamogun and Satogun, right? 3 modes of material nature. And the living entity is bound by these 3 modes of material nature. And it is very difficult to overcome this. Very, very difficult to overcome this. And it's like, for example, if you go in a casino, it's as baffling as a casino. So there are a lot of casinos in Reno, Las Vegas, Atlantic City, right? I'm not promoting you to go to casinos, but I'm just giving an example. So these casinos are really, well built. They spend like millions of dollars furnishing them and making them very nice. And the people who enter it, they have to be well dressed. If I just go like this, they won't even allow me. I have to be dressed well, and once you go there, you start playing, and if you start winning, the owners of the casino become very happy, because now you are getting addicted to it, and they know that the way they designed the casino is that they are going to be in profit always, right? And even if you lose 100 times, you will remember that, oh, I won 3 times. Right? That is also there. So they will get you into addiction. So similarly, this Maya, the material nature, is the energy of Krishna. Because it is the energy of Krishna, it is very powerful. So it's very difficult to overcome. And then another example is of a fish. So when a fisherman, he puts a worm in the bait, right? And then the fish comes and just eats the worm and then goes deep into the water. The fish is thinking, oh, I just ate it. See, nobody could capture me. And the fish goes and swims happily in the water. But what is happening? That bait is going, and when the fish is eating the one, it's going inside the fish's, belly, tummy. And the fisherman is happy, oh, let it go. Because once it goes more inside, it's, that's the point, then he starts, pulling it. And the fish is gone. So that is how Maya works. And since it is energy of Krishna, it is very difficult for us to overcome all these tendencies, of we fear, lust, anger. These are very difficult to overcome. But there is one way we can overcome, because it is the energy of Krishna. How can we overcome it? By taking shelter of Krishna. And who takes shelter of Krishna? Bahunam janmanam ante jnanva mam prapadyante Vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma su durlabham. So many lives, after many lives, we come to an understanding that Vasudeva is everything, Vasudeva sarvamiti, and that kind of Mahatma is very rare, sudurlabha, very, very rare. And how can we overcome this, and how can we attain the spiritual world is by bhakti. So Krishna says that bhaktya mam abhijanati. Through bhakti, through devotional service, you can know me. That is the process. We can know Krishna, and the process is sarva dharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishami machucha. So surrender all varieties of religion unto me, and do not fear. Krishna says ma shucha, do not fear. So no, don't. So that is the process. And this verse which we read is very important because it comes like 2 times. The first line comes 2 times in Bhagavad Gita, which stresses the importance of man mana. Mana means, what does mana mean? Mind, yeah. Man mana. Bhav mad bhakto, become my devotee. Mad yaji. Yaji means worship me. Mam namaskuru, offer obeisances to me. So Krishna is telling us the process how to reach him. So these are the 4 things that he is asking. So always engage the mind. And obviously, engaging the mind is very difficult in this time. When you open the phone, there is WhatsApp, that is YouTube, there is Facebook. If you go to hear a lecture on YouTube, then so many things pop up. And the mind, and after half an hour, you will think, oh, I came to hear the Bhagavad Gita lecture. And I heard something else. Right? It happens or not? So this is how the mind works. Because there are so many distractions today. It's very, very difficult. But the same technology which is distracting us can also be used in preaching. So many devotees are actually preaching on YouTube and internet, right? So just like Prabhupada will give an example of a knife. A knife can be used by a thief to kill somebody, or it can be used by a surgeon to cure somebody. So same thing is this technology. We can use it either to distract us or to serve Krishna, or or hear Krishna Katha. So I remember we went to Grand Canyon in Thanksgiving holidays, and we stayed overnight in the forest, in the park. And unfortunately, there was no Wi-Fi there. And the first place where even if we go to some guest place, instead of water, we first ask for Wi-Fi. Hey, what is the Wi-Fi password? Then we'll ask for water. So I asked the Wi-Fi password, from my neighbor, do you know the Wi-Fi password? He said, I don't know. And then I didn't want it to go to the reception. The phone was not working. So I was in anxiety for some time. Oh, the Wi-Fi is now, I don't know. I'm not up to date. What are my WhatsApp messages and, what's going on. But after half an hour, I got, I said, okay, leave it. And after that, it was so relaxed. I was so relaxed. Nothing is there, no distraction, nothing. And we slept early, and we got up early in the morning, like 4:30, and we chanted our rounds. It was so peaceful because it was in the forest. There was no phone ring, no signal, nothing. So peaceful. That was one of my, best days of chanting. It was so peaceful, so focused. Huh? Yeah, it was too cold also. Yeah, it was, the ice was there on the car. So, yeah, so just like Krishna is speaking the Bhagavad Gita to us. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by his own example, is teaching us how to be a devotee. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came 500 years back. So Krishna is teaching us, do this, sarv dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja man mana bhavat bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. But you will ask, okay, Krishna, you have told us, but how to do that practically? Can you give me some examples? Can you tell me what emotions should I imbibe when I do these things? So yes, Bhagavatam is there. Those are stories of Krishna's devotees, what Krishna did. But Chaitanya Charitamrita, through examples, association of devotees and everything, Mahaprabhu is teaching us in more depth how to be a devotee of Krishna, how to do man mana bhavat bhakto. Just like Prabhupada will give an example of a teacher. So when we go to school, the teacher writes ABCD alphabets. The teacher does not need to write it because she already knows it. But just for the benefit of the students, the teacher is writing the alphabets so that the students can understand it. So similarly, Krishna came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he taught us how to be a devotee of Krishna. And like Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam. Always do Kirtan. Satatam, always Kirtan. Always remember me. Do chanting, Kirtan, hearing my story. So similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also said that Harir Nam, Harir Nam, Harir Nam eva kevalam. Kalo nasti eva, nasti eva, nasti eva gatirannitha. And then it's a very joyful process. Joyful process in the sense, we are reading, we are hearing, we are taking nice prasadam, we are dancing, and we have nice association of devotees. So there is a very beautiful bhajan on this, that it's a joyous process. Parama karuna pahudui jana Gaura Chandra Sab Avatara Sara Shiromani Kevala Ananda Kanda. Kevala Ananda Kanda. It's full of happiness, Ananda. So Ananda is not like normal happiness that I am happy, that my daughter or whatever, they did something nice. But Ananda is like ecstasy. It's like real happiness. That is the definition of Ananda. So it's a joyful process. And Mahaprabhu also taught us through his interaction with devotees that we should live a life with values and character, with integrity, honesty, a life where we serve as the servant of the servant, Gopi Bharteyor Pad Kamaleyor Das Dasanudas, as a servant. We try to avoid conflicts, as much as possible, and try to cooperate with each other towards a common mission of helping each other in our lives, in our devotional lives and any other way. If somebody is sick, some devotee is sick, we should obviously take very much care of them, because we understand that his body is not for sense gratification. His body is like a boat to cross over this material world. In that way we can serve the devotees. And how much is the time left?
It's almost 7:50.
Okay, so I'll just wrap. So Srila Prabhupada also, took this message all over the world and gave these purports. So these purports are based on our acharyas. So if you see in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, so based on the, like Baldev Vidyabhushan and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, so these are the acharyas and many other acharyas. So if you see a reference of lot of Upanishads and Puranas where Prabhupada has given references, and because of that, this Bhagavad Gita is basically the world's largest selling Bhagavad Gita in the world. Yes, probably. Have you seen that video where the world's biggest Bhagavad Gita is in ISKCON Delhi? Have you seen that? Yeah, there is a very big Bhagavad Gita that is kept in ISKCON Delhi. They have made a Guinness record on that. So this is a good opportunity for us to basically read the Bhagavad Gita ourselves, understand it, and also be exemplary in our behavior, in our character, so that whoever meets us, they can see an example. Because many people can speak on Bhagavad Gita through lot of verses. So it's not academic study, or it's not for gaining prosperity or things like that. It is for changing our life. It's changing our character, the qualities that are there. So that is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita, and the essence of the Bhagavad Gita is to take shelter of Krishna. Yeah, so I will end here. So as if we take shelter of Krishna and his teachings, then all the blessings and mercy will shower upon us. And once we have that, we can also shower on others. So thank you very much for interacting. And I think next Sunday, His Holiness Badrinarayan Swami Maharaj will be speaking on Gita Jayanti. That's what Balram Prabhu told me. And probably there would be Yagya or something. So, and you can always sponsor a case of Bhagavad Gita, for brahmacharis to distribute, or you can take it and give your friends, relatives on this Gita Jayanti. So during this COVID pandemic, what we did is we put some Bhagavad Gita in small books in our garage, and we were using Instacart. So whoever came for delivery, said they came for delivering grocery, so we'll give them a book. So that way we gave over 100 books in last 1.5 to 2 years. without going anywhere, you know. So that was a good thing. Yeah. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you, bro.